Okay, imagine this for a second. There's this huge global market. It's growing pretty fast, impacting industries everywhere, every day. But most people probably never even heard of it.
Right. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah,
But some seemingly simple things can have a massive economic footprint.
exactly. And today we're going to do a deep dive into one of those, the global market for something called Conipack Pails.
That's right. And just so everyone's clear, these aren't your garden variety buckets. We're talking specialized containers, usually plastic, sometimes metal.
Specialized how?
Well, they have this conical shape, tapered. That means when they're empty, they nest inside each other really efficiently.
Ah, okay. So that saves space for shipping and storage?
Huge savings. Yeah. That makes them absolutely critical for things like paints, inks, industrial chemicals, even bulk foods like sauces or lubricants. They're kind of the unsung heroes of industrial logistics.
That makes sense. Great definition. And for this deep dive, we're drawing on some really detailed insights and forecasts from cognitive market research.
Yep, solid data covering the period from 2021 right through to 2033.
And get this for scale. The market was valued at just over $1.2 billion back in 2021. That's 12,233.06 million.
Okay.
But it's projected to shoot up to over $3 billion by 2033. That's 3,003.11 million,
Wow.
which works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 7.7%. Pretty robust.
Yeah, 7.7% is, well, that's fascinating. That's not just a number, right? It signals a really rapidly expanding sector.
Right.
Think about it growing nearly 8% year after year. That means the market is essentially almost tripling in size over about 12 years.
That's a healthy clip.
It really is, especially for something foundational like specialized packaging. It just goes to show how these behind-the-scenes industries can be massive economic drivers.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. If the overall growth is that impressive, where's it coming from? Which regions are really leading the charge here?
Right. Well, if you break it down regionally, Asia-Pacific is. It's the
Yeah.
powerhouse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It had the biggest share in 2021, $443.9 million.
Okay.
And it's forecasted to reach $1,141.1 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of over 8.3%. 8.355%, actually. So yeah, definitely the engine room.
Incredible. And I'm guessing China plays a big part in that?
Oh, absolutely. China's the leader within Asia-Pacific, no question. Its market was about $169 million in 2021, projected to hit $453 million.
Wow.
And its CAGR, get this, 8.914%. That's pretty much the highest globally for this sector.
What's driving that specifically in China?
It's largely fueled by, their massive manufacturing base, rapid urbanization, huge demand for construction materials, coatings, industrial chemicals, all things that need these pails.
Makes sense.
But it's not just China. India's right up there, too. Started at about $75 million, looking to reach almost $209 million.
Okay.
And its growth rate, almost identical to China's 8.885% CAGR. Similar drivers. Industrial expansion, growing consumer demand for packaged stuff.
And Japan.
Japan's a more mature market, but still solid. $52 million growing to $125 million with CAGR around 7.87%. Reflects its stable industrial needs.
Okay, so Asia Pacific is clearly dominant, fueled by industrialization and consumer markets. Let's shift gears. What about North America? How does it compare?
North America is a very substantial market, too. It was around $339 million in 2021.
Right.
And it's projected to grow to over $774 million by 2033. The CAGR there is about 7.2%. Consistent growth.
Still very healthy. And the U.S.
The U.S. is the big player there, obviously. Over $261 million in 2021, heading towards $590 million. The growth rate is just over 7.1%.
Okay.
Canada and Mexico contribute significantly, too. Canada's around $45 million going to $108 million, growing at about 7.6%. Yeah. And Mexico about $32 million, heading towards $76 million, growing around 7.4%. So steady demand from established industries, automotive, chemicals, food processing.
Fascinating. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. What's the picture there for these Conipack Pails?
Europe's market is also quite significant. About $260 million in 2021, expected to reach over $606 million by 2033.
And the growth rate.
Pretty healthy, around 7.5% CAGR overall.
Any standouts within Europe?
Germany, definitely. Strong industrial base, right? It was nearly $52 million in 2021, projected to hit $127 million.
Okay.
And its CAGR is particularly strong, almost 7.9%. That reflects its role in manufacturing chemicals.
Right.
Russia and the UK are also notable. Russia, about $33 million to $71 million, growing around 7%. The UK, about $26 million, nearly $64 million, growing faster at 7.76%.
Interesting.
And actually, the rest of Europe category shows really high growth, about 8.4%. So it's quite broad-based demand across the continent.
Okay, now here's where I saw some really interesting numbers too. South America seems like another region with a really robust growth.
Yes, South America is definitely showing strong expansion. It was valued at roughly $74 million in 2021,
Right.
and it's expected to climb to $213 million by 2033. That's a CAGR close to 7.9%, almost tripling its value.
Wow. Who's leading there?
Brazil is the clear leader, about $25 million going up to nearly $75 million, and its growth rate is over 8% annually.
What's driving Brazil's growth?
A lot of it comes from its large agricultural sector, think fertilizers, pesticides, and also its expanding industrial base needing packaging for food products and other goods.
Makes sense. Any others?
Yeah, Colombia is also growing strongly, around $6 million up to over $17 million, also with an 8% CAGR. It points towards, increasing industrialization, modernization, where efficient packaging just becomes more vital.
Okay. Now, what about the Middle East? How does that region compare to these faster growing areas?
The Middle East market is growing, for sure, but at a slightly different pace. It was about $63 million in 2021,
Okay.
projected to reach around $138 million by 2033. The CAGR is lower, around 6.3%.
So slower than Asia Pacific or South America.
Exactly. Saudi Arabia and Turkey are the main contributors there. Saudi Arabia, $25 million to $56 million, about 6.3% growth. Turkey, around $15 million to $31 million, closer to 6.1%.
And why the slower pace, do you think?
Well, it could reflect different stages of industrial development, maybe a stronger focus on certain industries where demand for these specific pails isn't quite as widespread as, say, in those rapidly industrializing Asian economies. It just highlights that, global growth isn't uniform.
Good point. Okay, let's round out the world tour. Africa. What's the outlook there?
Africa's market is definitely on an upward path. It was about $53 million in 2021. And is projected to hit $129 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of about 7.1%. So solid growth, more than doubling.
Which countries are key there?
Nigeria is a major player, about $13 million growing to over $32 million with growth above 7.3%. That's likely tied to its large population and emerging industrial needs.
Okay.
And South Africa is also important, around $22 million heading towards $53 million. Its growth is slightly lower, about 6.9%, probably linked to its more established, but still growing, mining, agricultural, and manufacturing sectors.
So growth across the board there too?
Yes, it reflects the continent's ongoing development and increasing integration into global supply chains.
Okay, so we've literally gone around the globe. Asia's booming, North America and Europe steady, South America and Africa showing strong potential. But let's bring it back. What does this all really mean? Why is there this impressive expansion for pails? Seems so simple.
Exactly. And that's the key. If you connect it to the bigger picture, these numbers aren't just about pails. They reflect fundamental growth in core global industries.
Like what?
Well, think about construction, especially in developing regions. More building means more paint, more coatings, more adhesives, all needing efficient packaging like Conipack Pails.
Right.
Or consider the global demand for packaged food and drinks that's constantly rising. And industrial manufacturing needs lubricants, chemicals, all transported and stored in these kinds of containers.
So the pail market is like a proxy for broader industrial activity.
In many ways, yes.
Yeah.
It's a direct reflection of global industrialization, urbanization, and just, increasing consumer demand for manufactured and processed goods everywhere.
That really drives home how these seemingly niche markets are actually critical. It's not just a bucket. It's enabling huge supply chains.
Precisely. It ensures products can be moved, stored, and used efficiently all over the world. It's about logistics, cost effectiveness, durability.
So this deep dive really shows how these seemingly simple items are vital cogs in massive industries: packaging, food, manufacturing, construction.
Absolutely. They are the unsung heroes, ensuring everything from the paint on your walls to ingredients and food processing plants gets where it needs to go safely and efficiently.
So to sum up, we're looking at a global Conipack Pails market jumping from just over $1.2 billion to over $3 billion in just over a decade. Pretty staggering growth.
It really is. It underscores the importance of these foundational, often overlooked parts of the economy.
Definitely. So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. Consider that intricate network of essential but often invisible industries that underpin, everything around us. How many other hidden giants like this are out there, quietly expanding and shaping our world right now?
Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, today we're plunging into something that might sound super specific at first. Conipack pails.
Yeah, Conipack
You
Pails.
might be thinking, a pail? Really? Why should I care? But that's exactly what we're here to do. We'll dig into our sources, pull out the key insights, and, well, make you pretty much an instant expert on this surprisingly dynamic market.
Exactly. And it's true, it sounds, very industrial. But understanding this market, it really mirrors these much larger economic trends, logistical challenges, even environmental shifts.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, this deep dive should really connect those dots for you. Show how even a simple container reflects these massive global movements.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So for anyone just picturing, well, a standard bucket, what exactly are Conipack pails and what makes them so impactful in industry and commerce?
Right. So at their core, they're these really versatile packaging solutions, usually made from tough plastics like HDPE, that's high density polyethylene or polypropylene, or very durable stuff.
Right.
But the key driver, initially anyway, was their huge role in paints and coatings. Think about it, all the construction, the home renovations happening globally.
Huge demand there.
Massive. And all that needs secure, efficient packaging for paints, glues, coatings. It's sort of a foundational market demand that keeps things ticking over.
Right, right. Now, here's where I found the design aspect really interesting. That conical shape they have. It seems simple, but you hinted it's actually a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Why that shape specifically?
Oh, absolutely. That conical design, it's not just for looks. It's incredibly efficient. It means you can nest them, stack them one inside the other when they're empty.
Oh, okay. Like cups.
Exactly like cups.
Yeah.
And think what that means. Massive savings on warehouse space, and crucially, lower transportation costs.
Right. Less air being shipped.
Precisely. For companies moving millions of these things, that simple design tweak actually plays a role in reducing the logistical carbon footprint. It's a great example of practical design having, a real environmental knock-on effect.
That's fascinating, the logistics angle. So, beyond paints and coatings, where else are these pails making their mark?
Well, their usefulness extends quite far into general industrial and chemical packaging, too. They're becoming a go-to for storing things like lubricants, sealants, various chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
What makes them suitable are their key features. They're designed to be leak-proof, they're very reusable, and extremely durable. That toughness makes them ideal for liquids and semi-solids, especially in harsh industrial settings where, flimsy packaging just wouldn't last.
Makes sense. But, like most things, it can't be all smooth sailing in the pail world, right? There must be challenges. What are the main headwinds this movement is facing?
Yeah, definitely headwinds. The biggest one, no surprise really, is the environmental pressure around plastic use.
Right. The plastic problem.
Exactly. Since most are HDPE or polypropylene, the growing concern about plastic waste, plus stricter regulations coming in globally, it's forcing manufacturers to seriously rethink their materials. It's not just noise, it's a strategic imperative now.
And I suppose that ties into another layer of complexity. The cost of those plastics. The raw materials fluctuate quite a bit, don't they, being tied to oil prices?
Absolutely. Those raw material prices are notoriously volatile because, yes, they're derived from crude oil. So
Yeah.
any global energy market shift, any geopolitical instability, it directly hits production costs.
Wow.
Yeah, it means pricing strategies have to be really flexible. It's a lot for a pail maker to juggle, managing supply chains tied to global oil.
That's a lot to handle.
It is. And there's another, maybe less obvious limitation. They aren't always the prettiest thing.
Well, fair enough.
They're highly functional, very robust, but, utilitarian looking. So that tends to limit their use where visual appeal is key, like premium retail packaging. Think high-end designer paint trying to catch your eye on a shelf. Function over fashion, definitely.
Okay, so we have these challenges in environmental pressure, costs, aesthetics. But what are the positive trends? How are companies adapting, innovating?
Well, what's really interesting is how directly they're responding to those environmental concerns. We're seeing a really significant and accelerating shift towards recyclable and eco-friendlier materials.
It's not just talk.
No, it's real action. It's driven by regulation, sure, but also by genuine consumer demand for sustainability.
Right.
So you're seeing innovation in things like bio-based plastics or incorporating more recycled plastic back into the pails themselves.
And related to that, I noticed a trend towards more customization. It's not just sticking a label on it anymore, is it? What kind of things are they offering?
You're right, it's gone way beyond a simple logo. Companies now offer quite advanced branding features. Think custom printing with complex graphics, maybe specialized labels with QR codes for tracking, and a whole spectrum of custom colors.
Hmm, okay.
It helps brands create a unique look and stand out, especially in crowded retail spaces like, say, the paint aisle or industrial supply shops. It's a battle for attention, even for a pail.
And tying this into modern manufacturing overall, automation seems to be playing a bigger role in production, too. How's that changing things?
Yes, absolutely. Integrating automation, both in making the pails and handling them, is leading to some pretty big improvements. Faster production times, much higher consistency product to product, lower labor costs,
Efficiency gains.
big efficiency gains. It helps companies handle that large-scale demand more reliably, and it also helps them manage those volatile costs and the complexity of offering more customization. Basically, it makes the whole operation more agile.
So bringing it all together, what does this all mean? We started with something as specific as a Conipack pail, but delving into it, you see it sits right at this fascinating crossroads of economics, environmental concerns, and, well, constant innovation.
It really does.
It's a story about pure utility and efficiency meeting this undeniable push for sustainability and the need to adapt, even for products we might think of as purely industrial.
And that really leaves you with a question to ponder, doesn't it? How do these seemingly simple, everyday industrial items like a Conipack pail end up being right at the center of global discussions about using resources wisely and making manufacturing sustainable?
That's a great point.
Think about how these specific market forces, the push for recyclability, the cost pressures, the need for branding, how they reflect much broader shifts happening across all industries, and even how your own expectations as a consumer are changing what we demand from any product.